you can get all the data from a website by scripting them. So this is one of the library called Beautiful Soup. It's a Python library that allows you to pull data out from a HTML as well as XML file. We put in layman terms is when you view on a browser, whatever you see in your user interface inside your browser, you are able to pull all the data down by using this library. And then it requires you some technical skills in order for you to pull the data out. Later, I will show you inside the demo, no worries. Then this is the link down there is the link for Beautiful Soup to the documentations, and I will share the link to you guys as well. This needs some web understandings, website understandings on HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So I will briefly explain about what is this tree. Any websites, right, that when you see on a website, they can't run away from HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. Any websites, you name it, it can't run away from these three things. But what happens behind and how does the browser render on the applications is different, but the output itself will be always HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So HTML is hypertext markup language. It's not a programming language, but it's a markup language which defines the structures of the website. And for any interactions, actions, for example, you click on a button to sign in and then submit your username and password, or some of the images are floating left and right. Those are the actions are handled by JavaScript. JavaScript itself is a programming language. And always remember, don't mess up JavaScript and Java. Both of them are different. JavaScript is run inside your browser. And CSS is cascading style sheet. Is where if you determine how does the website looks like. For example, the theme, the style, the color, the font size, the font color, and then anything that related to theme, it will handle by CSS. And CSS is very powerful in terms of it's able to determine what is the screen size, and then it will render by itself. For example, some of the website that if you open any web applications from your mobile and then you view it in your laptop, it looks differently. So those are everything is handled by CSS. In order for you to script the data down, you need to understand HTML structures as well as the CSS and a little bit for JavaScript, because some of the websites their support on lazy loading, which will be a little bit tricky for you to extract the data out directly from HTML. So that is another way of extracting the data out from their websites. And demo. Okay, let me show you. So this is the library. So this is the documentations for Beautiful Soup, and then you can go into install Beautiful Soup over here. Just click on that. Then over here, it will teach you on how do you install Beautiful Soup inside your workstations. If you're using Anaconda, no worries. Anaconda already installed the Beautiful Soup for you, so you are able to directly start with the Python coding to extract the data from the website. So this is the website that I'm going to show you on scripting. And how do we script normally is, instead of scripting one by one, normally I will just go to search and type in the keywords that I want to search. And this will be everything that I will need for the data. So this scripting, this piece of code, I'm using for Corona Tracker to script the data out from the star. And this is the link that I will be using to script the data. So for example, over here, I have 30 items. So clustering 1 to 30 over here, I have 30 news from my search result. and I'm going to look through all the news and grab the data out from the news content. For example, if I click on this link, COVID-19, I'll be able to open up this. Yep, that's like, okay. Sorry, that's music from that. So I'm able to generate pull all the data and the contents out from the news itself, and then from here I can use the Beautiful Soup by importing the library, and then I will directly show you the result and how does it works. And over here, this is the two functions that uh, I wrote last time. So I can just copy and paste this with like to pass the data, the date time format to the date time that I want. One is to convert to the data type for date time, and then another one is convert it back to the string. So let me run. And then I just show you. When I run and print out, right, this is the result from the HTML. Everything here, you see all the code over here is from the website. So how do I know that what the code looks like? You can, if you're using Chrome and Mozilla Firefox, inside the search, right, you can just right click and do an inspect. And this will come out from the website. So all this code, right, are inside from here. I just extract all the HTML content, the body or the code out from the request. And then I will use class. Still remember the CSS that I mentioned? I will be using the CSS to pull out all the data that I need. So for example, I'll just pull one and then I just print out news. And these are the link to each of the news page itself, the particular news, each of them that will link to one page. And then I will look through the list. I will look through the list and get all the link. And then I go one by one to grab all the data that I want. So over here, this is Beautiful Soap. So I will, when I look through the list, because I have 38 items inside the list, right? I look through one by one, and then I use Beautiful Soap and grab the data out from the website. And then I search for the image link, the author, the title, content, the date, the times that the timestamp that the news that it generate. And then when I run this code, can you see over here? So these are the data that I'm able to. So this is the URL to the news. This is the URL to the news, and this is the title, the news title, and then this is the image link, the author, and the content. And when did the image, when did this news published at? And there's no descriptions and summary. And then the access date is the current date in UTC, the current date that this news is generated. So we can try, is this the one that gives us a lot of, give us the music? Yeah, so you can see this is the link to the news itself. So you can see that how can we scrape the data. So this is one of the techniques for you to generate any data you can see from a web applications. For example, when I work in Watch Over Me, and this is one of the way that we scrape the latest crime news from a news portal, and then we determine the crime type based on the context of the news. And then we are able to get the latest crime reports. Then we are able to share directly to our users. So this is one of the way for you to generate all the data that you need for your own usage or your company usage. In order for you to become a data scientist, the first thing is you need to know where can you gather data. Because without data, the data scientists can't even do anything. Without data, they can't do anything. So this is why we call them data scientists, right? And then the other thing is you need to save all of this inside any database that your currently company is using. For example, some of the database that we are using is MySQL, Postgres, unstructured from Firebase, MongoDB. So these are the database that is very frequently used in the industry. And this is what web scraping, and then this is how we gather data from a website. And then you might ask that there's some of the websites, for example, like we can scrape data from Lazada, Shopee, Taobao, any. You can scrape all this data down, and then you can do comparisons for them to see that which are the items that you can get the cheapest with the highest review data. And then you are able to build a very simple apps for you to do price comparisons and then the review comparisons. So this is one of the modules that we will be covering in our data science 360 course, to teach you guys on how do you scrape data and then how do you save it inside a database for your further analysis using any NLPs or doing semantic analysis. So this is web scraping.